Hey everybody, Jancy.
Hey, Denise Richards and the lovely Lulu.
Hello. Good to see everybody today again. Welcome back to another All Things Home. Sometimes I forget to say All Things Home.
And it is All Things Home.
All Things Homes. And why did we title it that, you think?
I don't know. Maybe because it's all about all things home.
I think you're right. I think we try to cover pretty much everything that has to do with people's home or condo or trailer
Their
or
home.
lot.
It's their home.
That's their home.
It doesn't matter. And it's December 1st, the first day of December.
Yes, happy
the
December.
last first day of the month of the year.
Yeah. Oh, that was tough to say.
Yes.
You must have thought about that for a while.
It is actually...
What is today? There's a special thing on December 1st. What is that?
It is National Bifocals at the Monitor Liberation Day.
Wow.
That means somebody was sitting at the monitor, they were tired of that line, and they said, I've had it. I want my progressives.
I want my progressives. No more bifocals.
And that's how it happened.
You know, I'm very thankful I don't have to wear bifocals or glasses.
Just
really?
Be patient.
How long?
Not much longer.
Because I'm old. Because you're getting old, John.
Oh, some things do get better with age.
Oh, not eyesight, I hear.
Not your eyesight.
Well, thankfully, so far, it's 2020. I actually went to my son's eye doctor visit a month and a half, 2 months ago, and the lady was very kind. We were at Costco. She checks Johnny's eyes again. He's been there a few times for his contacts because he doesn't have good eyes like his dad. So Johnny got his eyes done, dilated, all that stuff. Doesn't look very fun, but he got it done. And then after he got done, the lady looks at me and she says, do you want me to do your eyes now? What do you think my answer was?
Yes.
No, I can see just fine. You're not touching. You don't know me very well if you think I'm going to let some doctor touch my eyes.
Did he have LASIK or something along those lines?
No. He just had like the drops put in and they dilate and they can't see for a minute or two.
Your eyes dilated. It's an awful situation. But we're not here to talk about eyes. We're really talking about real estate and all things home.
Yeah.
What did we talk about last week?
Well, last week we talked about the best places to retire. And Florida made a few of those spots. Florida made 4 of the top 10 spots.
Yeah.
If you want to know which towns those were, you can watch the video from last time. And we'll go over those for you. And then also talk about some of the other states that made that list.
Yeah, surprise there. You've got to watch last week's episode.
Yeah, so make sure you watch that. And usually, by the way, those episodes will pop up in the top of the screen or the bottom towards the end of our videos here. So if you stick around, it should automatically pop up for you.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we talked about last time. So this time, before we get into our topic for the day, because we forgot last time to talk a little bit about market update. So let's talk a little bit today about market update, and I'll hand it over to you here because there's some big news that's happened over the last week and a half.
There is some big news that's happened. We've got Fannie Mae telling us, predicting that by this time next year, interest rates are going to be in the mid-4s. Check out that article at CNBC. The link is posted below. Very interesting. Barry Habib, one of our big industry insiders, has predicted that within 6 months we're going to be in the mid-5s.
Wow.
So there's a lot of hope.
Wonderful.
And what else is going on besides the interest rates are going to come down? On the inventory side of things?
So inventory's slid up a little bit. I was reading a little bit of article the other day how inventory's gone up some, but it hasn't really affected the prices too much. So we'll talk about that another time, but inventory is slightly up, but not crazy numbers up. We're still not actually back up where we even were before COVID, like 2019. We're still not even there yet. So it's still, in a sense, still a seller's market, even though some sellers are reducing their prices, so on and so forth. We'll get into that more later, but yeah, don't panic.
No, definitely don't panic. Things are on the mend.
On the mend. You were going to say on the up and up, but they're not on the up. They're on the down with interest rates on the down and down.
Exactly. You caught me.
All right. Today we're going to talk about sellers' concessions. I've got this article here. What are sellers' concessions, right? So I want to talk a little bit about that for people because it's not a term that's probably used very often in regards to the sales process.
It's kind of a very fancy word for what they're doing.
Yeah. What do you mean what they're doing?
Well, a seller is conceding, right?
Yes.
That's basically what that means. And they're conceding to do what in typically?
Typically something that the buyer is requesting to be done. So, and this can happen anytime during the process from contract beginning to closing day, basically.
Yeah.
So there can always be concessions. Now, some contracts rule out different type of concessions or eliminate the fact that there's contingencies in the contract. But you can always ask as a buyer for something there. That's not the end of the world if you ask for something. So as I had gone through this article the other day, I like this. Sellers' concessions all have the same goal, and that is to sweeten the deal for a prospective buyer who is on the fence about committing to a purchase. Because sometimes people think that, hey, I'm under contract, so I'm committed 100%, but that's not always the case, especially for here in Florida. We have the as-is contract, and there's a time period, usually 10 to 15 days that the buyer has to get out of the deal for any reason. It doesn't really matter. Right. So during that time period, buyers will usually have their inspection, and during that time of the inspection period, if there's issues that arise, the buyer will ask for concessions, right? Or something done. Now, sometimes they'll ask for things to be fixed. If an outlet's not working, they'll ask for that type of concession. But there's other concessions. There's financial concessions.
Yeah, like so, if you've got a finance buyer that's, wanting to make an offer, and you're thinking maybe you need to reduce the price. Well, maybe rather than reducing the price, you're going to help that buyer with a lower interest rate. That would be a seller concession. You would pay for that rate buy down. And right now we have the 2-1 temporary rate buy down paid by the seller. It gives the buyer 2% below market the first year and 1% below market the second year.
That's
and
good.
We just discussed rates are going down. So
help them go down
it's
further.
It's a make sense situation. So we can't be scared. We can't let people believe everything that they hear in the mainstream media.
Right.
It's things are on the mend, like I said.
Things are on the mend, on the down and down. So yeah, that's one of the concessions. Another concession that people can do is if there is an issue with the home, let's say something needs to be replaced and the seller doesn't want to fix it because maybe there's a short time period between now and closing and they don't have time to replace an air conditioner or whatever pops up on an inspection report, roof. The seller can offer a concession to the buyer. And what I mean by that is a credit in a sense of at closing. Maybe they want to offer whatever equivalent value is for that item to be fixed, maybe $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is for what needs to be taken care of. And they give a concession to the buyer for that. Then the buyer then doesn't have to maybe bring as much to closing, or they don't have to finance as much, and then they have some funds after to take care of that problem.
Because let's face it, the seller might be thinking, geez, if I could just sell this before I have to replace the roof.
Right. A lot of people think that.
But then you have to ask for it, right? And what isn't worth asking for isn't worth having.
That's right. So you got to ask, and there are, just know this too, it's probably not the best to wait until a day or two before closing and start asking for these things. Do it within the beginning of your contract. That's good for all parties. It keeps that goodwill flowing back and forth between you as a buyer and the seller or vice versa. And so it's very important to time that out appropriately. And a lot of the contracts have specific timeframes where you should be doing that anyways.
And a good agent is going to guide you right through that on the timing and when and what to ask for.
I love that you keep pointing at me, and I wish Lulu would point at me or at least acknowledge me. Thank you, Lulu. Appreciate that. All right, good. So it's very important as we wrap this video up to make sure you have a good title company to help guide you through the closing process. Do we know anybody that does that?
That's right, yeah. Mr. Joe Taylor with Marketplace Title. He can absolutely navigate a contract that has those seller concessions.
Yeah.
And help the seller determine what their net proceeds are going to be at closing if they do give up those seller concessions. So he is your go-to. He's
the go-to guy. And most of our contracts go to Joe at Marketplace Title. He's here in Estero, Florida. It's in between Fort Myers and Bonita, Naples area. So he's centrally located if you need to pop in and see him or ask questions to any of his staff there. They're fantastic. I'll tell you something else I like about Joe. He has a attorney on staff there.
David Burt.
David, yes. Wow, you knew him. Great for you. So David's a great guy, and he will help look over any contracts. If something kind of goes off the rails or is potentially going off the rails in the midst of a contract, it's great to have an attorney there to kind of guide you.
Yeah, and he's so easy to work with.
So easy to work with. Down to earth type guy and has worked through many contracts, knows them. He probably could quote the contracts here, so he can help you guide through those.
The FAR quotations.
Yes, he's a great guy. So if you need a good place to do that with closing title, get in touch with Joe. His information will be below. And as we mentioned last time, if you are on YouTube watching this, hit the like and subscribe button below as well so that we can be in touch with you and stay on top. You can stay on top of these videos as they come out.
That's right. We need likes for Lulu.
Likes for Lulu. We are so glad you guys watched this again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below if you would for us. And stick around for another couple seconds. Another video is going to pop up here or here. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you later.
Bye now.